In the last episode, our small band of rebels, Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion, had narrowly escaped the Aethereian district's outer rim, still reeling from the close call that had almost cost them their lives. The weight of their perilous journey was beginning to test the bonds of their unity, with Dr. Orion's increasingly reclusive demeanor causing concern. As they caught their breath, they began to reassess their quest to reboot Aethereia's harmonics. The stillness of the moment was a brief respite from the chaos that had become our lives. I gazed out at the desolate landscape, the skeletal remains of buildings a haunting reminder of what had been lost. Elara's voice cut through my thoughts, her words laced with a mix of determination and worry. "We need to keep moving, we can't stay here for long. The Puppeteer's forces will be tracking us, and we don't have much time." I nodded, my eyes scanning the horizon for any sign of danger. Dr. Orion, however, seemed lost in thought, his gaze fixed on some point in the distance. "Dr. Orion, what's going on? You seem distant," I said, my concern for him growing. He blinked, his focus snapping back to the present. Sorry, I was just considering our next move. We need to find a way to amplify the resonant frequency, and I think I know where to start." Elara's eyes lit up with interest. "Where?" Dr. Orion hesitated, his eyes darting between us before settling on a point in the distance. "There's an Aethereian sage, someone who's been hiding in the shadows. She might hold the key to unlocking the secrets of the ley lines." The mention of the ley lines sent a spark of hope through me. Could this be the break we needed? As we journeyed deeper into the unknown, the air grew thick with an eerie silence. I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched, that unblinking eyes were trained on us from the shadows. It was then that we saw her, an enigmatic figure, her face shrouded in shadows. She regarded us with an unnerving intensity, her voice like a gentle breeze on a summer's day. "I've been waiting for you, Alex and friends. I sense that you're searching for a way to reboot Aethereia's harmonics. I can help you, but are you prepared to face what lies ahead?" I steeled myself, a sense of trepidation building in my chest. We had come this far, there was no turning back now. "We are," I said, my voice firm. A small, enigmatic smile played on her lips. "Very well then. Follow me and I'll show you the way to the ley lines. But be warned, the path ahead will test your courage, your wits, and your resolve." With that, she turned and vanished into the shadows, leaving us to follow. I exchanged a glance with Elara and Dr. Orion, and together, we stepped into the unknown, the promise of the ley lines and the secrets they held beckoning us forward like a siren's call. As we walked, the darkness seemed to press in around us, the air growing heavy with an electric sense of anticipation. I could feel at the pulse of the ley lines, a rhythmic beat that seemed to match the cadence of my heart. And then, without warning, the ground lurched beneath our feet, a low rumble building in intensity. The sage's voice cut through the growing din, her words urgent. "Quickly now. We must find shelter, a seismic event is imminent." The world around us erupted into chaos as the ground convulsed, the sound of cracking stone and shattering glass filling the air. I grabbed Elara's hand, and together we stumbled forward, the sage's guidance the only thing that kept us from being consumed by the raw fury of the earthquake. As the tremors subsided, leaving behind an uneasy stillness, I realized that our journey had just become a lot more complicated. The ley lines were within reach, but so were the dangers that lurked in the shadows, waiting to strike. A faint hum, like the whisper of 1,000 distant voices, began to build in intensity. The sage's eyes locked onto mine, a spark of warning there. "It's beginning," she said, her voice barely audible over the growing din. "The ley lines are awakening, and with them, the remnants of Aethereia's lost technologies. But we're not alone. The Puppeteer's minions will be drawn to this energy, and they will stop at nothing to claim it for themselves." The world seemed to hold its breath, poised on the cusp of a new and uncertain era. I knew that our actions would tip the balance, that the choices we made would decide the fate of Aethereia. The question was, what would we find when we finally reached the ley lines? And would we be able to harness their power before it was too late? The hum grew louder, a crescendo of sound that seemed to reverberate deep within my chest. And then, just as suddenly as it had begun, everything went silent. The stillness was oppressive, heavy with anticipation. It was then that I saw it, a massive structure, hidden in the heart of the ruins. The sage's eyes followed mine, a small smile playing on her lips. The ley lines are within our reach, Alex, but are you prepared to face what lies within? I steeled myself, a sense of determination building in my chest. We had come this far, there was no turning back now. Let's do this, I said, my voice firm. The sage nodded, a glint of approval in her eyes. Then let us begin. Previously, Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion escaped the Aethereian district's outer rim, only to find themselves at a crossroads, with Dr. Orion's reclusive demeanor and the weight of their journey testing their unity. A chance encounter with an enigmatic sage led them to the subterranean network of ancient ley lines that could amplify the resonant frequency needed to reboot Aethereia's harmonics. As I stepped into the heart of the massive structure, the silence was almost palpable, the air thick with anticipation. The sage's words echoed in my mind, "Are you prepared to face what lies within?" I felt a shiver run down my spine, but Elara's hand in mine was a reassuring anchor. We had come this far and there was no turning back. But as I looked around, I saw that Dr. Orion was nowhere to be found. Previously, Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion escaped the Aethereian district's outer rim, only to find themselves at a crossroads, with Dr. Orion's reclusive demeanor and the weight of their journey testing their unity. A chance encounter with an enigmatic sage led them to the subterranean network of ancient ley lines that could amplify the resonant frequency needed to reboot Aethereia's harmonics. The silence was almost palpable, the air thick with anticipation. The sage's words echoed in my mind, "Are you prepared to face what lies within?" I felt a shiver run down my spine, but Elara's hand in mine was a reassuring anchor. We had come this far, and there was no turning back. But as I looked around, I saw that Dr. Orion was nowhere to be found. "Elara, where's Dr. Orion?" I whispered urgently, my eyes scanning the dimly lit chamber. The walls seemed to close in on me, the air growing heavier by the second. Elara's grip on my hand tightened, her eyes darting around the room with a mixture of concern and frustration. "I don't know, Alex. He was right behind us when we entered this structure." I released her hand, taking a step forward, my instincts telling me to find Dr. Orion before it was too late. As I called out his name, the echoes died, replaced by an unsettling stillness. I turned to Elara, my heart racing. "We need to find him. Now." With a determined nod, Elara followed me, our footsteps echoing through the labyrinthine corridors. The air seemed to thicken, the silence growing more oppressive by the second. We turned a corner and suddenly, Dr. Orion's figure came into view. He stood before a massive, crystal-like structure, his eyes fixed on the object with an unnerving intensity. "Dr. Orion," I called out, my voice laced with caution. He didn't respond, didn't even flinch. It was as if he was in a trance, the object before him exerting some kind of strange power over him. "Dr. Orion, snap out of it," Elara shouted, rushing toward him. I followed close behind, my heart pounding in my chest. As we reached him, Dr. Orion's eyes snapped into focus, his gaze locking onto ours with an unblinking intensity. "Ah, Alex, Elara, I've found it," he whispered, his voice laced with an unsettling enthusiasm. "I've found the key to unlocking the resonant frequency." A shiver ran down my spine as I gazed upon the object before us. It was an ancient Aethereian artifact, its crystal surface pulsing with an otherworldly energy. "But at what cost?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper as I saw the toll it had taken on Dr. Orion's already fragile psyche. Dr. Orion's face contorted into a twisted grin, his voice taking on a manic quality. "The cost is irrelevant, Alex. The cost is nothing compared to the prize we seek." As I gazed upon the artifact's pulsing energy, I knew that we stood at the threshold of a new precipice, one that would test our resolve, our unity, and our very sanity. But I also knew that there was no turning back now. not when the fate of Aethereia hung in the balance. With a deep breath, I steeled myself, my determination hardening into unyielding resolve. Let's do this. The words hung in the air, a challenge to the fate that lay before us as we stepped forward into the unknown, side by side, our bond forged stronger than ever previously. Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion discovered the ancient Aethereian artifact, which could amplify the resonant frequency needed to reboot Aethereia's harmonics. However, Dr. Orion's obsessive behavior towards the artifact raised concerns, and the trio stood at the threshold of a perilous journey. The air was electric with tension as we gazed upon the ancient artifact. Dr. Orion's words still echoed in my head: "The cost is irrelevant, Alex. The cost is nothing compared to the prize we seek." I felt a shiver run down my spine as I met Elara's gaze, her eyes mirroring my concerns. Suddenly, the artifact began to pulse more rapidly, its energy output increasing exponentially. The chamber around us began to shake and the walls threatened to collapse. "What's happening?" I shouted above the din, my eyes fixed on the artifact. Dr. Orion's grin grew wider, his eyes gleaming with an unsettling intensity. "It's responding to our presence, Alex. We need to harness its energy to unlock the resonant frequency." Elara's grip on my arm tightened, her voice barely audible above the cacophony. "Alex, I don't think we can control it. We need to get out of here now." I hesitated, torn between Dr. Orion's conviction and Elara's caution. The chamber shook more violently, and the artifact's energy output reached a fever pitch. In that moment, I knew we had to act. And fast. "Dr. Orion, can you stabilize the energy output? We need to get out of here before it's too late." Dr. Orion's gaze snapped back to reality and he nodded curtly. "I'll try, Alex, but we need to be quick." With Elara's help, we managed to pry Dr. Orion away from the artifact, and we made a hasty retreat from the chamber. We stumbled out into the labyrinthine corridors, the artifact's energy still echoing in our minds. As we ran, I knew that we had to find a way to harness that energy, and fast. The fate of Aethereia hung in the balance. We finally emerged into a vast underground cavern, the ceiling lost in darkness. The air was stale and the silence was oppressive. I knew we couldn't stay here for long. We needed to find a way to tap into the artifact's energy and use it to reboot Aethereia's harmonics. I turned to Dr. Orion, my eyes locked on his. "We need to find a way to harness that artifact's energy. Can you do it, Dr. Orion?" Dr. Orion's gaze drifted away, his eyes clouded over. "I am not sure, Alex. I need more time." I felt a surge of frustration, but I pushed it aside. We didn't have time for recriminations. We needed to act, and fast. I turned to Elara, my determination hardening into resolve. "Elara, we need to find a way to harness that energy. Can you hack into the Aethereian grid? See if we can find any information on the artifact." Elara nodded curtly, her eyes flashing with determination. "I'll try, Alex, but we need to be quick." As we set to work, I knew that we stood at the threshold of a new journey, one that would test our resolve, our unity, and our very sanity. But I also knew that we had no choice. We had to succeed, no matter the cost. For Aethereia, we would risk everything. Previously, Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion discovered the ancient Aethereian artifact, but its unstable energy output forced them to flee, and they now stand in a vast underground cavern, racing against time to harness it and reboot Aethereia's harmonics. Dr. Orion's obsession with the artifact raises concerns, and Elara's hacking skills are their only hope to unlock the secrets of the artifact. But as they work against the clock, a sudden, deafening rumble announces the arrival of an unstoppable force, a colossal seismic event that will crush them all unless they act. As we frantically scan the cavern, our hearts racing in tandem with the growing tremors, Elara's eyes locked onto a section of the wall, glowing with an ethereal blue light. "Guys, I think I found something." Dr. Orion's gaze snapped back to the present, his eyes flicking between Elara and the artifact, as if torn between two loves. "What is it, Elara? Did you find a way to harness the artifact's energy? Elara's fingers danced across her console, her brow furrowed in concentration. I'm trying, but I need more time. This ancient grid is unlike anything I've seen before. The cavern shook harder and the sound of grinding stone filled the air. I knew we were running out of time. Elara, how much longer? We need that energy output stabilized now. Just a little more time, Alex, she whispered, her eyes darting between the console and the artifact. Dr. Orion took a step forward, his voice low and urgent. Alex, we can't wait. We need to harness that energy or risk being trapped here forever. I felt the weight of responsibility settle onto my shoulders and my mind raced with the impossible choices ahead. But there was no time for hesitation. I turned to Dr. Orion and my voice came out firm, resolute. Well, try to harness the energy. Elara, can you? The cavern lurched violently, throwing us off balance. The blue light on the wall pulsed more rapidly, and I knew we had mere seconds left. Can you hack into that grid and stabilize the energy output? I finished, my eyes locked on Elara's. Her fingers flew across the console, her face a mask of concentration. The artifact's energy began to stabilize and the cavern's tremors slowly subsided. We stood there, panting, our hearts still racing from the close call. But as I turned to Dr. Orion, I saw something that made my blood run cold. The artifact's energy output had stabilized, but Dr. Orion's eyes had taken on a disturbing intensity, his gaze fixated on the pulsing energy. Dr. Orion, I said, my voice low, cautious. What's going on? You're not thinking of using that energy for yourself, are you? Dr. Orion's gaze snapped back to reality, and a cold smile spread across his features. Oh, Alex, you have no idea what we're dealing with here. No idea at all. And with that, the cavern plunged into darkness, the artifact's energy dwindling to a faint hum. We stood there, frozen, our hearts pounding in the oppressive silence. I knew we were on the cusp of something enormous, something that would change Aethereia forever. But I also knew we were running out of time. Fast previously, Alex, Elara, and Dr. Orion narrowly escaped the colossal seismic event by harnessing the ancient Aethereian artifact's energy, only to be met with Dr. Orion's unsettling fixation on the artifact, culminating in a dark, ominous promise that sent the cavern into darkness. As the silence suffocated us, I strained to make out Elara's silhouette, her breathing the only sound in the oppressive blackness. Elara, can you get the lights back on? We need to. Suddenly, the cavern erupted in a blaze of blinding light, forcing us to shield our eyes. When the glare dissipated, I beheld an unrecognizable Dr. Orion, his eyes aglow with an unearthly intensity, his entire being radiating an aura of unbridled power. Dr. Orion, what have you done? I whispered, my hand instinctively reaching for the hilt of my sword. Dr. Orion's eyes sparkled with a manic energy as he raised his arms, savoring the raw power coursing through him. I've unlocked the secrets of the artifact, Alex. I've tapped into the very essence. Elara's voice trembled with a mix of fear and awe. Dr. Orion, you're resonating at the same frequency as the artifact. You're becoming one with it. The scientist's expression twisted into a grotesque grin. Ah, but I'm not just resonating with the artifact, my friends. I'm transcending. I'm becoming the key to Aethereia's rebirth. As Dr. Orion's words hung in the air, the cavern began to shift, the walls cracking and reforming into an eerie, pulsing latticework. The air vibrated with the hum of ancient machinery, awakening from its slumber. With each passing moment, Dr. Orion's transformation accelerated, his body contorting, his eyes blazing brighter. Elara and I exchanged a desperate glance, our minds racing to comprehend the horror unfolding before us. Alex, we need to act, Elara whispered urgently, her hand grasping for my arm. Dr. Orion's losing himself to the artifact. If we don't stop him, hell become the very thing we're trying to defeat. With those words, the cavern plunged into chaos, the walls shuddering, the air thickening with the promise of destruction. I knew that our quest had reached a critical juncture. We had to stop Dr. Orion before he became an unstoppable force, and before the artifact's power consumed us all previously. Dr. Orion's obsession with the ancient Aethereian artifact had reached a critical point, culminating in a terrifying transformation that threatened to destroy everything they had worked for. As the cavern collapsed around them, Elara and Alex were left with no choice but to stop Dr. Orion before he became an unstoppable force. The cavern's walls continued to close in. The air grew thick with an otherworldly intensity. Elara's hand grasped mine, her eyes locked on the transforming Dr. Orion. I nodded, and together we charged forward, our swords flashing in the fading light. We had to stop Dr. Orion before it was too late. Dr. Orion, snap out of it, I yelled, trying to pierce through the madness that had consumed him. You're not a god, you're a scientist. You have to stop this. But Dr. Orion didn't respond. He didn't even flinch. He was too far gone, lost in the artifact's power. The cavern's walls continued to shudder, the ground cracking beneath our feet. We had to act fast or risk being crushed. Elara and I exchanged a desperate glance, our minds racing to come up with a plan. We knew we couldn't take on Dr. Orion in his current state. He was too powerful, too unstoppable, but we couldn't give up either. Not yet. That's when I remembered the artifact's power. I remembered how it had amplified our transmission, how it had given us a glimpse of hope. Maybe, just maybe, it could do the same for Dr. Orion. Maybe it could bring him back to reality. Elara, I need you to hold off Dr. Orion, I said, a plan forming in my mind. I need to try and reach him, to snap him out of this trance. Elara nodded, her eyes locked on the transforming Dr. Orion. I'll hold him off, Alex. You go. I took a deep breath, my sword at the ready. I charged forward, the artifact's power coursing through the air. I could feel its energy calling to me, urging me to use it, and I did. With a burst of adrenaline, I reached out, connecting with the artifact's power. The cavern's walls shuddered, the air crackling with energy. Dr. Orion's eyes locked on mine, his gaze blazing with an otherworldly intensity. For a moment, time stood still. The cavern's walls stopped shuddering, the air stopped crackling. Dr. Orion's gaze, locked on mine, seemed to hesitate, as if he was torn between the artifact's power and reality. And in that moment I reached out, my voice echoing through the cavern. Dr. Orion, come back to us. Snap out of this trance. We need you. For a heartbeat, Dr. Orion's gaze wavered. His eyes flickered, his body seemed to shudder. And for a moment I thought I saw a glimmer of recognition, a hint of sanity returning to his eyes. But it was short-lived. The artifact's power surged once more, and Dr. Orion's eyes snapped back into madness, his body contorting, twisting, and transforming even further. Elara's voice cut through the chaos, her sword clashing with Dr. Orion's. Alex, we need to get out of here now. I didn't need to be told twice. I turned, grabbing Elara's hand, and together we charged out of the cavern, leaving the madness and Dr. Orion's terrifying transformation behind. We had to escape, to regroup, and to find a way to stop Dr. Orion before it was too late. Previously, Dr. Orion's obsession with the ancient Aethereian artifact had reached a catastrophic point, culminating in a terrifying transformation that threatened to destroy everything they had worked for. As the cavern collapsed around them, Elara and Alex were forced to flee, leaving Dr. Orion behind. As we emerged from the cavern, the bright sunlight was a harsh reminder of the danger we had narrowly escaped. We stood panting, our chests heaving, our swords still trembling with the aftershocks of the battle. Elara's gaze locked onto mine, her eyes searching for answers, but I had none to give. The silence was oppressive, heavy with the weight of our uncertain future. Dr. Orion's transformation had changed everything. We couldn't go back to the way things were before. The stakes were higher now, the danger more real. We have to find a way to stop Dr. Orion, Elara said, her voice firm, resolute. I nodded, my mind racing with the possibilities. We couldn't face Dr. Orion alone, not in his current state. We needed a plan, a strategy to take him down. We need to find the Aethereian sage's temple, I said, a spark of determination igniting within me. We need to uncover the secrets of the ley lines and find a way to harness them to reboot Aethereia's harmonics. Elara's gaze locked onto mine, her eyes burning with determination. "Let's do it," I said, my voice firm. We set off, our journey taking us across treacherous landscapes, through hidden caverns and over treacherous mountain paths. We battled rogue mechanoids, avoiding deadly seismic events that threatened to crush us beneath their might. As we traversed the unforgiving terrain, the silence between us grew, until it was palpable, a living, breathing entity that pulsed with tension. We didn't speak, didn't dare to, fearing the words that might break the fragile bond between us. Days turned into weeks, the landscape changing, the air thickening with an otherworldly intensity. We could feel it, the artifact's power calling to us, drawing us closer to our goal. And then, on the eve of the 7th week, we saw at the Aethereian sage's temple, a towering structure that pierced the sky like a shard of glass. We approached cautiously, our swords at the ready, our senses on high alert. We knew what lay within the knowledge to reboot Aethereia's harmonics and the power to stop Dr. Orion's destructive path. But as we stepped into the temple's inner sanctum, we were met with a surprise, a figure, cloaked in shadows, waiting for us. "Welcome, Alex," Elara, it said, its voice dripping with an otherworldly intensity. "I've been waiting for you. You're just in time to witness the beginning of a new era, an era of hope and freedom." I raised my sword, my heart pounding with anticipation. Who was this figure and what did they mean? But before I could ask, the figure stepped forward, revealing its true identity, a being of pure energy, with eyes that burned with an inner fire. "I am Aethereia, the last of the Aethereian sages," it said, its voice filled with a deep, ancient wisdom. "And am here to guide you on your journey, to help you unlock the secrets of the ley lines and reboot Aethereia's harmonics." I felt a surge of hope, a spark of determination igniting within me. We had found our guide, our ally, our hope. And with Aethereia by our side, I knew we could accomplish anything. "Let's do it," I said, my voice filled with conviction. "Let's reboot Aethereia's harmonics and bring hope back to this shattered world." Aethereia's eyes burned with approval, its energy surging forward, enveloping us in a warm, golden light. "Together we can do it," it said. "Together we can ignite a spark of resistance and shatter the Puppeteer's grip on Aethereia's collective consciousness." And in that moment, I knew we were on the cusp of something new, something revolutionary. We were on the cusp of hope and a brighter future. Previously, Dr. Orion's catastrophic transformation had left Alex and Elara to flee, leaving Dr. Orion behind. Now they must find a way to stop Dr. Orion and reboot Aethereia's harmonics. As Aetheria's warm, golden light envelops Alex and Elara, they feel a sense of reassurance wash over them. But it's short-lived, as a loud rumble echoes through the temple, causing the ground to tremble beneath their feet. "What's happening?" Elara asks, grabbing onto Alex's arm for support. "I don't know," Alex replies, his eyes scanning the temple's inner sanctum. "But we need to get out of here fast." Aetheria's energy surges forward, illuminating a path through the temple's winding corridors. Alex and Elara follow, their hearts pounding in unison. They burst through the temple's entrance just as a massive earthquake strikes, causing the ground to split apart like a ravaged wound. As they stumble out into the open, they see it, a massive, ancient Aethereian structure hidden beneath the temple. The structure begins to glow, pulsing with an otherworldly energy. "This is it," Aethereia says, its voice echoing in their minds. "This is the heart of the ley line network. We can harness its power to reboot Aethereia's harmonics." But as they approach the structure, they are confronted by a group of rogue mechanoids, their eyes glowing with an eerie red light. "We can't let you have it," one of the mechanoids says, its voice cold, detached. "The Puppeteer's orders are clear: crush all who dare to resist." Alex and Elara stand firm, their swords at the ready. Aetheria's energy surges forward, illuminating the darkening landscape. "We won't back down," Alex says, his voice firm, resolute. "We'll fight to the end to restore hope to this shattered world." The mechanoids charge, their mechanical bodies crashing against Alex and Elara's swords. The battle rages on, the outcome hanging precariously in the balance. As the fight wears on, Alex begins to realize that Aethereia's energy is not only guiding him, but also awakening a deeper power within him, a power that could harness to amplify the resonant frequency and reboot Aethereia's harmonics. The battle reaches its climax, Alex and Elara standing back to back, their swords clashing against the mechanoids' relentless assault. In a burst of adrenaline-fueled determination, Alex unleashes a powerful blast of energy, amplified by Aethereia's guidance. The mechanoids stumble back, their bodies shattered, their threat neutralized. Alex and Elara stand victorious, their bond stronger than ever. As they catch their breath, Alex looks up at Aethereia's energy still pulsing within the ancient structure. "We did it," Alex says, his voice filled with a sense of pride and accomplishment. "We took the first step towards rebooting Aethereia's harmonics." But as they begin to approach the ancient structure, they realize that their journey is far from over. The Puppeteer's power still looms, its dark influence casting a long shadow over Aethereia's fractured psyche, and Dr. Orion, now a powerful, transformed being, still poses a deadly threat. "We can't stop now," Alex says, his voice firm, resolute. "We need to find a way to stop Dr. Orion and harness the power of the ley lines." The fate of Aethereia hangs in the balance. Elara's eyes lock onto his, a deep determination burning within them. "Let's do what it takes," she says. "Let's do whatever it takes to bring hope back to this shattered world." Alex nods, a spark of hope igniting within him. They'll face whatever dangers lie ahead, united, determined, and fueled by their unwavering conviction to ignite a spark of resistance and shatter the Puppeteer's grip on Aethereia's collective consciousness. Previously, Alex and Elara had fled from Dr. Orion's catastrophic transformation, leaving them to face the daunting task of stopping Dr. Orion and rebooting Aethereia's harmonics. Now, they have discovered the heart of the ley line network, but rogue mechanoids and Dr. Orion's lingering threat continue to imperil their quest. As Alex and Elara step into the ancient structure, the pulsing energy envelops them, and Aethereia's voice resonates within their minds. The ley lines hold the key to amplifying the resonant frequency, but you must find a way to harness its power and navigate the treacherous subterranean tunnels that lie beneath. The remnants of Aethereia's lost technologies and the secrets of the Puppeteer's influence on the planet's fractured psyche await you. With a deep breath, Alex and Elara venture deeper into the heart of the structure, their footsteps echoing off the ancient walls as they embark on a perilous journey to reclaim Aethereia's lost harmonics. Previously, Alex and Elara fled from Dr. Orion's catastrophic transformation, leaving them to face the daunting task of stopping Dr. Orion and rebooting Aethereia's harmonics. Now, they've discovered the heart of the ley line network, but rogue mechanoids and Dr. Orion's lingering threat continue to imperil their quest. As they delve deeper into the ancient structure, the air thickens with an otherworldly energy. Aethereia's echoing voice grows louder, guiding them through the labyrinthine tunnels. The walls begin to glow with an ethereal light, illuminating hidden symbols etched into the stone. The symbols pulse with a life of their own, as if the ancient Aethereians had encoded a hidden message within the ley lines themselves. Suddenly, the tunnel shudders, and the air is filled with the deafening roar of an approaching seismic event. Alex and Elara stumble, their footing uncertain as the ground trembles beneath their feet. The ley line's energy surges, threatening to consume them whole. In desperation, Alex reaches out, his mind connecting with the pulsing energy. The symbols on the walls flash brighter and the seismic event's fury begins to wane. The tunnel stabilizes, the tremors subsiding as the ancient structure responds to Alex's connection. Elara's eyes widen in awe as she gazes at Alex, a newfound respect and wonder etched on her face. "Alex, you did it," Elara says, her voice barely above a whisper. "You harnessed the ley line's power." Alex's eyes remained fixed on the ancient walls, his thoughts racing with the implications of his newfound connection to the ley lines. "We're not out of this yet," he warns, his voice laced with a sense of foreboding. Dr. Orion's still out there, and the Puppeteer's influence isn't going to give up easily. As they press onward, the tunnel opens up into a vast underground chamber. The ceiling disappears into darkness, and the walls are lined with ancient artifacts and relics of a long-lost technology. Elara's eyes sparkle with excitement as she surveys the room, her fingers itching to explore the ancient devices. In the center of the chamber, a massive crystal structure rises from the ground, emitting a resonant frequency that harmonizes with the ley lines. Alex's heart beats faster as he approaches the crystal. His connection to the ley lines be the key to amplifying the resonant frequency. Suddenly, a figure emerges from the shadows, an enigmatic smile spreading across their face. "Welcome, Alex," the figure says, their voice dripping with an air of familiarity. "I've been waiting for you. My name is Kale, and I'm here to guide you through the remnants of Aethereia's lost technologies." Alex's instincts scream warning, but Kale's warm demeanor puts him at ease. He extends a hand and Kale takes it, their handshake sealing a tentative alliance. As they shake, the resonant frequency emanating from the crystal structure, and the ley lines begin to hum in harmony. The air in their quest has shifted, and Alex senses that Kale holds secrets that could tip the balance in their favor. With Kale's guidance, they navigate the ancient chamber, unearthing relics of Aethereia's forgotten past. The secrets they uncover hint at a darker legacy, one that has left an indelible mark on the planet's fractured psyche. As they delve deeper, Alex begins to realize that the Puppeteer's influence runs far deeper than they had initially suspected. The stakes have escalated, and Alex's growth as a leader is put to the test. He must navigate the treacherous landscape, confront the dark legacy of the Puppeteer, and inspire acts of defiance and ingenuity that will chip away at the Puppeteer's grip on Aethereia's collective consciousness. United, they'll breach hidden strongholds, harness the power of the ley lines, and track the resonant frequency to its source, an ancient Aethereian artifact capable of rebooting the planet's dormant harmonics. As they venture deeper into the heart of the ancient structure, the echoes of the transmission still linger, a constant reminder of the danger that looms ahead. The fate of Aethereia hangs in the balance, and Alex knows that he must confront the dark secrets head-on if he hopes to shatter the transmission's hold and herald a reborn world. Alive with possibility previously, Alex and Elara fled from Dr. Orion's catastrophic transformation, leaving them to face the daunting task of stopping Dr. Orion and rebooting Aethereia's harmonics. Now, they've discovered the heart of the ley line network, but rogue mechanoids and Dr. Orion's lingering threat continue to imperil their quest. Alex's eyes locked onto Kale's, his mind racing with the secrets the enigmatic guide might hold. With each step, the ancient chamber, they unearth relics of Aethereia's forgotten past, hinting at a darker legacy that had left an indelible mark on the planet's fractured psyche. "We're getting close," Kale said, his voice low and urgent. "The artifact is hidden deep within the stronghold, but we need to move quickly. Dr. Orion's transformation is almost complete." Alex nodded, his determination fueled by the weight of their quest. They ventured deeper into the heart of the ancient structure, the echoes of the transmission still lingering, a constant reminder of the danger that loomed ahead. Suddenly, the air thickened with the presence of Dr. Orion. His eyes burned with an otherworldly energy, his transformation almost complete. The air was filled with the deafening roar of his mechanized body as he began to take form. "You fools," Dr. Orion's voice boomed, his mechanized body glowing with an ethereal energy. "You think you can stop me? I am the key to Aethereia's rebirth." Alex steeled himself, his connection to the ley lines surging with energy. "We won't let you do it, Dr. Orion. You're being manipulated by the Puppeteer." Dr. Orion's laughter echoed through the chamber as he began to take form. His massive mechanized body began to take shape, its power coursing through the ley lines. Alex reached out, his mind connecting with the pulsing energy. The walls flashed brighter, and the ley line's energy responded to Alex's connection. The air was filled with the fury of the ancient structure as it responded to Alex's call. The battle raged on, Alex and Dr. Orion clashing in a spectacular display of energy and power. The resonant frequency emanating from the crystal structure began to harmonize with the ley lines. In a last-ditch effort, Alex reached out to Dr. Orion, his mind connecting with the doctor's mechanized body. The puppeteer's influence began to wane, and Dr. Orion's eyes flickered back to life. With a newfound sense of determination, Dr. Orion turned on the puppeteer's minions, fighting against their former masters. Alex, Elara, and Kale joined forces, breaching hidden strongholds and harnessing the power of the lines. As they tracked the resonant frequency to its source, the ancient Aethereian artifact, Alex's growth as a leader was put to the test. He rallied his companions, inspiring acts of ingenuity and defiance that shattered the puppeteer's grip on Aethereia's collective consciousness. In a heart-stopping showdown, Alex and Dr. Orion faced the puppeteer's last remnants, their combined strength shattering the transmission's hold on Aethereia. The artifact, now free from the puppeteer's influence, began to glow with an otherworldly energy. Alex reached out, his mind connecting with the artifact. The air was filled with the sound of Aethereia's harmonics, rebooting, and the planet's dormant energy surging back to life. The chamber began to fade, the ancient structure disappearing into the darkness. Alex, Elara, and Kale emerged into the bright light of a new dawn, the fate of Aethereia hanging in the balance. As they looked out upon the reborn world, alive with possibility, Alex knew that their journey was far from over. The echoes of the transmission still lingered, a reminder of the danger that loomed ahead. But Alex was no longer afraid. He had become the champion of hope, and the spark of resistance would continue to ignite the flames of defiance and ingenuity. Epilogue. In the years that followed, Alex, Elara, and Kale became legends, their bravery and defiance inspiring generations to come. The planet, once fractured and broken, was now a beacon of hope, its energy resonating with the harmonics of Aethereia. But as Alex looked out upon the reborn world, he sensed the presence of another, watching from the shadows. The echoes of the transmission still, a reminder that the journey was far from over. The spark of resistance would continue to ignite, and Alex knew that he would be ready, for the next great adventure was yet to come.